as someone who cared. And in his 25 years, he reached that goal times 1,000. I had asked Shane if he was scared if anything happened to him on the job. His reply was, "Life's too short to care so much and get upset about every little thing. It'll play fine out in the end, or if not, I'll be up to see Dad and the rest of the family. It's a win-win. I'll love you for eternity. Love always, your Twinnie."
Very emotional day for so many here in Northeast Ohio. On that note, we say hello again and welcome to What's New with Laura Caso. I'm Jay Crawford. Thanks so much for spending time with us.
Yeah, and you can see, Jay, he was such a hero to so many. His twins speaking there. Definitely an emotional day, an emotional week. Yeah,
very emotional week. And that's where we begin today, by remembering fallen Cleveland police officer Shane Bartek. This morning, hundreds of friends, family, and fellow officers gathered to honor Bartek's life. His funeral services took place this morning at Grace Church in Middleburg Heights. Brandon Simmons was there and joins us now. Brandon.
Hi, Laura. Hi, Jay. Yeah, we were here at the funeral services today. Hundreds of others also showing up to show their support for the Bartek family. And today at that funeral, the one person who spoke from his family was the person who arguably knows him better than anyone else, and that was his twin sister, Summer. She talked about some childhood memories, also how awesome of a person Officer Bartek was, and she wanted everyone to remember him for a person who cared. On this somber day in Middleburg Heights, Grace Church was filled to capacity as family members, friends, and fellow officers gathered for a final farewell to fallen Officer Shane Bartek through song,
"Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound,"
and prayer.
Let them know that you love them, that you're right here with us.
Shane was most well known for the love he showed to others and his dream of becoming a police officer.
I knew Shane wanted to be a police officer with his joy he had with our first set of walkie-talkies growing up. He would go to one cul-de-sac and I would go to the other, and we would talk to each other. "Peanut butter, are you there? Over. Jelly, I'm here. Over."
One could argue no one knew Shane better than his twin sister Summer, born just 13 minutes ahead of him. Even though he was technically the younger sibling, Summer says Shane always looked out for her, as he did with everyone he met.
But mostly Shane wanted to be remembered as someone who cared. And in his 25 years, he reached that goal times 1,000.
And his love reached so many people in such a short time. Close friends and even complete strangers, many of them lining the streets to pay their respects to an officer gone too soon. It's a fate Summer recently asked Shane about, wondering if he was ever scared on the job.
"It'll play fine out in the end, or if not, I'll be up to see Dad and the rest of the family. It's a win-win."
Officer Bartek was laid to rest at Holy Cross Cemetery, joining his father Ron, who died 3 years prior, but not before a final salute to a hero who will be missed by so many.
And I hope when the day comes that I leave this earth, he will be there welcoming his Twinnie home.
Now, Officer Bartek was just 25 years old, and of course, he was just 2 years into that dream job that he always wanted with the Cleveland Police Department. In fact, we heard from Interim Police Chief Wayne Drummond. He also expressed his sympathy to the family while at the funeral services here, and also said his department would be much better if he had many more officers who were like Shane, Jay.
Brandon Simmons reporting live tonight on What's New. Brandon, thanks. By the way, we have images from Bartek's funeral up on our website, WKYC.com. Laura?
Now on your feet at 5, you know how quickly the cost of those at-home COVID tests can just add up, right? Well, there's good news for you tonight. Your health insurance will reimburse you. Our Emma Henderson tells us when and how you can get your money back. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Laura. So a new policy is coming down from the White House. It will require private insurers to cover COVID test kit costs up to $12 per test. Local health officials are hopeful this could make appointments at testing sites more readily available in the long term. Now, there is a limit to those number of test kits that will be reimbursed, up to 8 per person per month, meaning a family of 4 can get up to 32 tests reimbursed in a month. This will happen by either having your insurance cover the cost up front when you make the purchase at a local pharmacy or submitting a claim to the company. If you're on Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Plan, FDA-approved tests will still continue to be covered at no cost. Here locally, the Cuyahoga County Board of Health hopes this will reduce the high rate of spread because people will know their status.
But it sounds like it will be impactful. The thing is that we just want to make sure that the shipping is able and the supplies are able to meet with the demand.
Now, you'd be hard-pressed to find an at-home test kit in Cleveland, but the Board of Health is hoping to hear more from the state on supply next week. Now, we're also keeping an eye out to learn more details about the administration's plan to launch a website and make 500 million at-home test kits available via mail to Americans who request them. We will keep you posted on that as we get more information. Laura?
All right, Emma, thanks so much. I know a lot of people excited to get reimbursed for all those tests. Thanks again.
Well, Laura, also on the testing front, Case Western Reserve University began its spring semester this week. And for students, faculty, and staff looking for COVID-19 tests, the institution has made it very easy to find them. This is interesting. Case has converted 12 of its vending machines around campus, once filled with snacks and drinks, with PCR tests. They're only available for students, faculty, and staff. Each vending machine holds up to 250 tests. Staff members collect the samples up to twice a day. They run the samples through a lab that's affiliated with the School of Medicine there, and they send out the results within 24 hours.
The main focus is that we keep our faculty and staff in the office and in the classrooms, and our students being able to have that in-person learning. So this really helps us go with our living with COVID concept, having the vending machines accessible to everybody at any time.
The saliva-based PCR tests are free for students, faculty, and staff after showing a valid school ID. The machines will be stocked until further notice, and Case plans to have rapid antigen tests available on campus as well very soon. Okay, so
yes,
whenever you're in times of despair,
sure,
it calls on creativity. I think this gets a 10 out of 10 on the creativity scale. It's brilliant.
So smart. And I think it's going to give those students, the faculty and staff, kind of that sense of security. You know, you're walking into a classroom, you're inside, obviously our COVID numbers are up, go to the vending machine, get your test and you're good to go. Yeah. I would like it. I would be testing a lot.
I think it's really interesting. Now, on the positive note,
yes,
I read an article this afternoon. It was authored by Associated Press. And there is a large portion of the scientific community studying this Omicron variant that believe that our cases are going to begin to fall just as rapidly as they rose a couple of weeks ago. They're citing studies that were done in South Africa. Obviously, that's where the Omicron variant was first discovered. The cases went up rapidly. They plateaued for about 6 weeks. And then just as quickly as they skyrocketed, they dropped off the cliff. The same is happening right now in Great Britain. They're a couple of weeks ahead of us and a few weeks behind South Africa. So the thinking here is that the variant actually runs out of people to infect, and it's not as easily spread.
I hope it's right.
Thus leading to that huge decline. So we're watching for that and hoping that that's true.
Today I texted my friend, I am so over this, and that news, that article, gives us some hope. I'm going to hold on to it. It's all you can do right now.
I look for those little lights of hope,
Just
and
something.
I hold tightly to them.
All right, Jay, thanks. Well, blood crisis. Those are the words written in bold on the American Red Cross's website right now. They're in dire need of blood donations, experiencing a nationwide shortage they have not seen in years. Well, today our Isabel Lawrence spoke with them and caught up with donors at a blood drive downtown to learn more about the impact that your blood can make.
We're supposed to take care of each other, and this is an easy way to do it.
As a healthcare worker, Andrea Sittler's job is caring for others, but she can't be the only one lending a hand, or in this case, an arm.
There could be a time that you need it, and you're going to want that supply there for you.
The blood supply is at a dangerous low nationwide. Organizations like the American Red Cross are relying on donors like Sittler to help save lives.
We are seeing the worst blood shortage in more than a decade.
Christy Peters with the Red Cross says they typically like to have a 5-day supply of blood at the ready. Right now, they're below that threshold, declaring a blood crisis. The pandemic has made it harder to find donors and host drives, in addition to other challenges.
The pandemic, severe winter weather, staffing and supply chain issues, many of the things that are affecting businesses across the country. But unfortunately, it's affecting patients and hospitals who are depending on blood products.
This is really an unusual situation to have the blood supply be this critically low.
Like hospitals nationwide, university hospitals here in Northeast Ohio are feeling the impact of the shortages. Dr. Christine Schmutzer says blood is needed for many treatments, from traumas to blood disorders.
When we start to get short on red blood cells or platelets or other blood products, we really need to thoughtfully manage this and move to some different strategies to make sure we can support and care for as many patients as we can.
A call to action for donors like Kevin Roberts.
I have every confidence. I've had every confidence for 30 years doing this.
Who knows that a few minutes of his day can mean life or death for someone else.
I mean, what can you do to save that many lives just by spending a half hour in a beautiful room?
So if you want to help, you can donate blood, and if you can't, they're always looking for volunteers and spaces and businesses to host blood drives. Plus, if you donate right now, there are perks. Donors with the Red Cross can be entered to win tickets to the Super Bowl in LA, and Vitalent, another organization that collects blood, is entering donors into a giveaway for $5,000 gift cards.
All right, so there is incentive, but I like what he said. Save a life, spend 30 minutes in that beautiful room. That says it all. All right, Isabel, thanks so much. And next for you on What's New, bubble bullies. Yeah, a battle between iPhone and Android over the way texts appear on different devices. We'll explain what's causing all that heat.
This story just made me chuckle more than anything. And later, a first look at the new Fresh Prince reboot trailer. Kiara has the details on the release of that. It's coming up in Pop Break. And Matt Wintz is back with us today. Matt, great to see you again. Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening to you. They finally unfroze me from the parking lot. I tried to make it in yesterday, but just a frozen block of ice. Boy, it's been cold the last 2 days, as you'd expect in January, right? Well, we're going to thaw things out tonight and tomorrow. Your outdoor forecast, if you're perhaps heading out in the town tonight, we're in the 20s. We've got mainly clear skies, some high clouds floating over, but we've got warmer days ahead, and then we go back to the chill, and there's some snow in the mix. We'll take you through that forecast after this.
Well, it is Tech Tuesday here on What's New, and today we have an interesting story about iPhones and those text bubbles. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
the text bubbles that appear when you send a message.
Are you iPhone or Team Android?
I'm Team iPhone.
Yeah,
What are you?
I am too.
Yeah.
I am too. Now, if I told you I was Team Android, would that come with a stigma?
No, it would not.
Okay, because
I am no judgment.
You're in the minority. All right. So by now you know that those blue bubbles, particularly if you're in a text chain with a bunch of people,
Right.
if they're an iPhone user, it comes in blue, but if they're not and they're using Android, it will come in green. Well, according to Google, that distinction leads to peer pressure and bullying. The comments stem from a Wall Street Journal article about teens stick with iPhone over Androids because the green text bubble signals they have an Android device, and
Dun, dun, dun.
that would be bad. So here's my immediate thought on that. And I know that this was initiated by Google, but Android sort of co-signed it when they sent out a tweet saying, yeah, text messages are supposed to bring us together, not be divisive.
Right.
So they're sort of co-signing this fight that Google is picking between two tech giants. Here's my thing.
Let me hear it.
Make a better product.
Think about BlackBerry. I used to have a BlackBerry.
yeah.
I never thought I'd change. I got a better product with an iPhone, I feel, right?
Yes, and just last week, Mike Polk did the whole Android
Oh, yes.
funeral thing because they're no longer servicing. Look, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, if you would have said BlackBerries are going to be a thing of the past, you wouldn't have believed it.
True.
But then if you investigated, well, what will lead to their demise, it would be a better product.
Agree.
And the iPhone product has just dominated the market because the masses feel it's the best product.
It is the best. I mean, mine's hidden right now, but gotta go with this one.
Right here. I mean, I'm Team Apple, and they all integrate.
Wow.
And I just found that to be
It is, yeah.
almost junior high-ish.
I would agree with that.
Make a better product, and people will buy it. I promise. And Matt Wentz now. You're Team Apple, right?
I am, but you don't need to include me in this and everybody.
Don't drag me into this
He doesn't want
fight.
any part.
I'm not like super pro Apple. There's some things they can improve too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, listen, I totally agree with that. But in terms of my everyday use, it just seems to fit my needs.
You guys
your
see
weather
behind you
word-
real quick?
What's that?
Look behind you.
Oh,
right
we're
now.
sorry. We're
is that our sunset?
Wow. That's beautiful.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at that. That's Cleveland, not Miami.
Listen, like you, we've been all over. I'll take Cleveland sunsets over just about any place.
I would agree.
They're gorgeous.
They're the best.
Oh, they're beautiful. Your weather word today is twofold. One, it could pertain to the forecast, but it also could pertain to anybody who's making a product that they think has a negative stigma attached to it. Improvement.
Okay.
So there you go.
That's easy.
And I think that's going to be easy for him
that's
today.
pretty
Yeah, I
easy,
think so. Yeah, let's look at tomorrow's temperature. I mean, anything can be better than today. Let's just say that. Certainly chilly outside. Here's the great news. We've got a south wind. What does that do this time of year? Bumps our temperatures up. And that's exactly what we're going to see. We're going to see temperatures kind of hold over the next couple hours, and they should start to rise tonight. We're in the 20s right now. Problem is the wind is kicking up. That's how we get warmer air in here. You see sustained winds anywhere between 5 and about 16. So that adds a little extra bite to the wind chill. So we're feeling more like 10 degrees outside, and that will hold steady tonight. So if you have evening plans, certainly still chilly. Looks like we've lost weather from 9 to 1 o'clock in the morning, so we won't see any sky conditions then. We will have the moon out before then, and after that we'll have some conditions. But notice temperatures rising tonight. We'll give the weather computer a little kick there in a little bit. All right, satellite offers so many things. We have so many different products satellite-wise. This is the visible satellite today. Shows us a lot, right? You see the high clouds floating over northeast Ohio, but the stuff that's not moving, that's the snowpack. That's where we have snow cover versus bare ground. Much of Ohio still in bare ground. You get out towards the snow belt, we're dealing with that snowpack. Kind of neat to see that. Ashtabula County picked up anywhere from 1 to 5 inches from west to east with this snow event. The rest of us didn't see much out of it. And this is the infrared satellite. And notice the yellows that we see here. Normally this product shows us the cold cloud tops way as they get higher in the sky. That's the darker they are. But the ground was so cold in southern Canada this morning that we had infrared satellite picking up on how cold that is. They had temperatures well below zero up in Maine today. We're somewhere in between, but look at the warming down towards our south. Anything over what we've had is going to be an improvement in terms of the forecast. You can see as we go through time, we bring the clouds in overnight tonight with your National Design Mart Hour by our forecast. We're in the 30s tomorrow. tomorrow morning. We'll stay in the 30s tomorrow to up near 40 degrees in the afternoon. We are going to have lots of cloud cover, though. Perhaps a couple flurries as a weak system drives through here tomorrow evening. Overall, not much in terms of consequence with that. We've got more cold air on the way this weekend, a big dose of it. Another one as the Arctic unloads next week. We're going to stay in this cold pattern with a little hit of 40 degrees and up near 40 on Thursday. That's it. Union Home Mortgage 7-day. Cold air arrives Friday and Saturday. We're going to have to watch this weekend storm system. Heavy snow somewhere nearby. We'll talk about that in the next half hour. Laura.
All right, great job using that weather word. It was easy today, though.
Easy.
All right, next, from singer to politician. Yeah, well, we'll tell you what this former American Idol star is running for. That's ahead for you in Pop Break.
Then a sweet treat for one little boy, but there's someone else that gets to enjoy the fun. It's our Worth the Watch. It's coming up. Look at
Hi, Matt. Do you know today's topics for today? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't even know what else I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. Kanye and then Clay. Yes, in 2014? Yeah, I did. He's trying again. Never give up on your dreams.
Time to take a Tuesday Pop Break now. Kira Cotton joins us from the newsroom with some top entertainment stories making headlines today. Hello to you.
Hey, Laura. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air got in one little fight and his life changed forever. In the first trailer for the reimagined reboot of the 90s classic, drama is at an all-time high. With someone in his hometown wanting him dead, Will, played by Jabari Banks, escapes to Bel-Air. The hour-long series explores his journey as he struggles with the power of second chances while navigating the conflicts, emotions, and biases of a world far different from the only one he's ever known. Bel-Air will be available to stream only on Peacock starting February 13th. And whether you love him, hate him, or just don't care at all, Kanye West's rise to fame is noteworthy, or in this case, documentary-worthy. Netflix released yesterday the first trailer for a 3-part documentary that explores the Chicago native's early years trying to break through the music industry and his life now as a global artist and brand. Genius, a Kanye trilogy, will be available to stream on February 16th, with Act 1 airing in select theaters prior to the release. And do you all remember the name Clay Aiken? He was the season 2 runner-up on American Idol. But now, nearly 2 decades later, he's trying to share his voice in a different way. The 43-year-old is running for Congress in his home state of North Carolina. Running as a Democrat, Aiken kicked off his campaign with a video announcement yesterday. The Raleigh native explained that if elected, he plans to focus on issues like income equality, access to healthcare, and climate change, while also promising to address infrastructure and inflation. And now it's time to give today's code word for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Eagles concert. Today's code word is hotel. You can enter that word now at wkyc.com/contest, and we'll give out a new code word each day, every day this week and next week. The Eagles are set to play at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on March 17th. And last but certainly not least, we're sending a special congratulations to Milo Ventimiglia. The Gilmore Girls and This Is Us actor received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame yesterday. And if you want to see more of Milo and the rest of the This Is Us crew, their 6th and final season is airing right now, Tuesdays at 9, right here on The 3. Laura and Jay?
I really like Milo Ventimiglia.
Do you?
He deserves the star.
Yeah. I agree. I certainly agree. Jesse has my heart from the very beginning.
Yeah, me too.
All right, very good. Key, thanks. Today's Worth the Watch is going to make you smile, I promise. This mom feeds her boy whipped cream, gives it to him straight from the dispenser, and the little boy just loves it. Who wouldn't? But look what he does.
Oh, that's so cute.
He points immediately to his dog, and mom gives Fido some too. A tasty topping for the adorable duo. But look, I mean, is that not the most precious reaction?
I could watch that over and over. That is sweet. Look at him. He's like, don't forget.
Points. There's a reason they're man's best friend.
And then he laughs. Oh, that's so sweet.
That is absolutely great.
That's a good one.
Made my day, actually.
Me too. All right, next, be prepared for some possible frustrations this tax season. What the IRS says about filing and the challenges they're facing that could impact your return.
Plus, this is an absolutely amazing story. For the first time ever, a pig-to-human heart transplant has been successful, at least so far. We're going to tell you how it was done and why it's offering so much hope for thousands that are in need of organs.
And Betsy is here. She joins us again live from Lake Tahoe. What she's learning on the West Coast about climate change and its impact right here in Ohio.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Start at 5:30 with three things you need to know. This morning, Cleveland police officer Shane Bartek was laid to rest. Hundreds of friends, family, and fellow officers gathered to honor his life. He was killed in the line while he was off duty, during a carjacking. This happened on New Year's Eve. His twin sister shared some of her favorite memories with him growing up.
One of my fond memories is having our dad's deactivated flip phone and riding our bikes around the cul-de-sac texting each other. Now, this wasn't the texting how it is now. Shane would type a message while I was riding my bike in circles and then hand me the phone. I'd erase what he wrote, type my reply while he was riding his bike, and then give it back to him, and we would do this for hours.
Officer Bartek was laid to rest at Holy Cross Cemetery, joining his father, Ron, who died 3 years ago.
The Red Cross is in desperate need for blood donors. The organization says it's dealing with a nationwide shortage that it has not seen in decades. Local workers told 3 News they like to have a 5-day supply of blood ready to go. Right now, they are well below that threshold. You can help by volunteering your time or donating blood. If you donate right now, there are perks too. Donors with the Red Cross can be entered to win tickets to the Super Bowl in LA. And Talent, that's another organization that collects blood, is entering donors into a giveaway for a $5,000 gift card, actually cards, several of them.
And again, our number of new coronavirus cases comes in right around 19,000. In fact, the number 19,611 is the exact number. This marks the 14th straight day that our number has been between 18 and 20,000. There were also 442 new hospitalizations in the latest report, but our total number of currently hospitalized with COVID went down 22. That number now stands at 6,727. And with that, we'd like to welcome you back to the second half hour of What's New, along with Laura Caso. I'm Jay Crawford. Betsy is out on Lake Tahoe. She's going to join us in just a little bit. And I'm sure she's going to have wonderful things to say about how beautiful it is out there.
It's stunning. She's not completely off the hook. You know, she still has to work. And actually, I think she's talking about the hottest days in Cleveland or Ohio. Yeah. There's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, we will get to that in the second half hour of What's New.
That's right. But first, to our top talker, taxes. Americans can start filing on January 24th, but the IRS warns this could be a frustrating tax season because of challenges, of course, caused by the pandemic, and years of budget cuts, too. NBC's Tom Costello has what you need to know.
The April 18th tax filing deadline may be more than 3 months away, but the Treasury Department is warning Americans now that the upcoming tax filing season could be frustrating. Agency officials say they're facing enormous challenges, among them the pandemic.
There's a lot more work for the IRS to do with a lot fewer staff members doing it.
While the U.S. population has grown over the past half century, IRS staffing is now at the same level it was more than 50 years ago, with fewer than 15,000 workers available last year to handle more than 240 million calls. To make matters worse, the agency is using outdated technology and has also seen its budget slashed nearly 20% over the past 10 years. The best way to avoid refund delays this year, file early electronically and ditch the paper forms. As of last month, the agency still had a backlog of millions of unprocessed returns from the year before. For those who made less than $73,000, the IRS offers free file. And companies like H&R Block and TurboTax offer their own software for e-filing too.
E-filing with direct deposit, that's the quickest way to get your tax refund.
The IRS says people who file electronically with direct deposit should not experience issues and should receive their refund within 21 days.
Something in that piece made me chuckle a little bit. It said that this year's tax season could be frustrating.
Aren't they all?
As opposed to last year's, which was not frustrating, or the year before. I mean, it's always a nuisance and the necessary evil. We've got to do it. But that stat is stunning, that the size of the agency, the Internal Revenue Service, has pretty much remained the same, while America's population, of course, has grown.
So gear up. Another frustrating year, apparently.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Not ideal.
And they gave us 3 whole days.
3 days, yes.
So it used to be April 15th was the day. Now it's April 18th.
It might get pushed to, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I think they did push it last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, this story is just incredible, and it offers real hope for medical advances in the future. A man in Maryland is now the first to receive a heart transplant from a genetically modified pig. The 7-hour procedure was the first of its kind. It was a last-ditch effort to save 57-year-old David Bennett's life. So far, he has survived 3 days with this beating pig's heart in his body. It's given the medical community and his family real hope that a decades-long quest to use animal organs for life-saving transplants will be successful. Other attempts, of course, have not worked, mostly because the patient's body rejects the animal organs. But here's what they did. In the case of this pig, the pig underwent gene editing to remove a sugar from cells that were responsible for the body rejecting the heart. Now, that to me, you know, like we've done that with fruit. You've had genetically altered fruit that no longer has seeds in the pit. And you're like, okay, well, wait a minute. The seed is how we continue to have that fruit.
Right.
We plant more trees. But with this, I mean, it's incredible that someone has figured this out and has done it. And fingers crossed, because it opens a myriad of options for people that are on lists right now to get life-saving transplants of not just hearts, but other organs too.
And this guy, he had a quote that I was reading earlier, and he said, this was it.
Yeah.
If I didn't get this,
last chance.
This is all I got.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed, 3 days so far.
Yeah.
Hopefully he lives a long life.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll be following this throughout, but
100%.
Just the fact that doctors have been able to gene edit the sugar out of this pig's cells so the body won't reject it, when you think about that, there's really nothing we can't do if we get together and put our minds to it.
How far we've come.
Man, that's incredible stuff.
All right, straight ahead for you. There's our girl, Betsy. Gosh, don't you want to be there?
Scenic there.
I know, it's horrible.
I feel so sorry for her.
She's clearly live in Lake Tahoe to talk climate change. I know, we feel so bad for you.
I spent my whole morning in a conference room, and then I get to come out here and you guys feel sorry for me. I'm so happy to have fresh air.
Well, she's going to join us in just a little bit to talk more about climate change. And later, Partnership Pledge. The Cleveland Clinic is calling on visitors to keep it cool and lay off their hospital staff. We'll have more on that coming up in Clicking in Cleveland. But first, Matt is here. Not quite as scenic as where Betsy is, but, you know, it'll work.
I didn't catch where she was. Was that Ashtabula?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I grew up out there. It is beautiful this time of year. Guys, I caught footage today. I went through all the WKYC security cameras. This was Jay coming into work today in the parking lot outside. Looking good, Jay. I don't know how you really kept the form the whole time, but
well, I wanted to be in your jiffy.
Yeah, well, there you go. You made it. We've got cold temperatures now, but we do have a little bump in temps over the next couple days. We'll discuss next.
That's good.
Mix that in.
All right, we have a game coming up. That's all I'm thinking. I know we have weather, but we have a weather game.
It's Matt Stats.
Yeah.
We
Matt
like to we play games here at 5 o'clock. We make it fun.
I like it.
Right. But we still get paid somehow. Hey, Betsy's off, or she's not really off. I mean, we know she's working hard out there at that view. But I'll tell you, I should have done just weather-related because I've been avoiding the weather-related because Betsy knows, all the weather-related stuff. I could go real easy tomorrow, but
Oh, so you thought you could stump us?
this one's really a stumper today. I didn't even get it. But all right, here we go. So here's the question today. So we start with the number. You guys guess. The number is 14 today. Was that last night's low temperature, the percentage of winter snow we should have in by now, inches of snow in Nashville this month, or the age Peyton decided she wanted to be a meteorologist?
Oh, wow.
You guys stew on that a little bit, okay?
Okay.
No all of the above today. I'm not going easy on you, Jay Crawford.
I know. I always take that option.
So A, B, C, or D. We'll get that. All right. Got a picture in on Instagram. This is from Leslie Mint on Instagram. Lake effect snow. If you just moved here, this is how it works. This is Willoughby near the lake. Nothing yesterday. This is Willoughby downtown, about 1.5 miles inland. They had about 2 to 3 inches of snow. What a difference it makes from neighborhood to neighborhood. Out in Ashtabula County, Pierpont came in with a 5.5 inch total. Meanwhile, the western side of the county saw about 1 inch. We had about 3 in Chardon, really non-event across Cuyahoga County. So that's all gone, but we held on to our snowpack today with a high of 24. That's all we checked in. Our average high is 36. Look at this. Back in 2020, it was 70 today. That was our record. Notice our sunset continues to get later. That's kind of nice, right? We can now see it at the 5 o'clock show. Pretty nice. It'll remain chilly tonight. Temperatures are warming, but the wind's going to kick up as well. So it's going to feel like near 10 degrees all night tonight. You will need to bundle up once again. We did have the sunny skies this afternoon, some high clouds floating through. You notice it's pretty quiet on the weather map from here back towards the west. Our flow remains out of Canada. This brings the cold air in. It also keeps that Gulf of Mexico moisture from really attaching to these storm systems. So there's not a lot of moisture to work with these storms. So in the forecast, you'll see we have flurries here, flurries there, but no big snows in the immediate forecast. Interesting storm to watch this weekend. We'll talk about that in just a minute here. But your National Zymark hour-by-hour forecast increases the clouds. We've got another weak system coming in from the north. Temperatures are going to rise tonight. We'll be near 30 at daybreak. Should top out near 40 tomorrow. So we're going to melt a little of that snow out in the snow belt. You notice by tomorrow evening as that system comes in, couple flurries here and there. Overall doesn't look like too big of a deal. Bigger picture though, as we go through time, you notice these little hits of these weak systems that come through. This one on Thursday is going to spin up a big storm off the eastern seaboard. And then this is the interesting one. System dives south Friday and Saturday. This will be a weekend storm. Look how far south it goes. Develops a strong area low pressure, perhaps accumulating snow for Atlanta, Birmingham. They don't handle that well. And then this thing comes up the eastern seaboard, perhaps as a major snowstorm for the I-95 corridor. If this comes further west, it could happen. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Look at that track, says the Euro. Heaviest snow east. But the GFS has a little bit closer to us, so we'll keep an eye on that over the next couple days. But as of right now, we're going dry in your Union Home Mortgage forecast through the weekend, but it'd be that Saturday, Sunday time frame we'll watch. It remains cold as we go throughout those days. All right, Matt Stats, you guys have answers?
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
Okay. I'm going to go with A, and I go with A because I was in last night at 11 p.m. anchoring, and I think Jason Michael said the low was 14. I was thinking 16, but I think it was 14. I'm going with A.
Okay. Well,
don't copy.
I'm going to say D because I thought you said that the low temperature was 12 during your forecast.
You caught that. You caught that, Jay Crawford.
I did.
That's okay. We know who's paying attention, who's not.
Okay.
That's good. So you're going D. The age Peyton decided to become a meteorologist.
So I'm actually going to go. Oh, I can't even change my answer.
No, you can't.
No, Jay.
We're like Jeopardy here. You know, you put the answer in, and there she is.
14 years old. She wanted to be a meteorologist.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
And you know, the really impressive thing is she's just 15 now.
She just drove here for the first time today.
She looks very young, but she's a little older than that.
9 and 5.
Wow.
Okay, Matt. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, you got to pay attention.
I know, clearly.
You have to pay attention. All right, our Betsy Kling is in Lake Tahoe, as you know, for a climate change summit. Betsy, the view there is just absolutely stunning. I wish you could have enjoyed it for more of the day, but enjoy it while you're there. What can you tell us about what you're learning?
Well, don't feel too terribly sorry for me, but I am in conference rooms in the morning, and then we do get to come out in the afternoon. I'm at 9,123 feet right now above sea level. Lake Tahoe there in the background, and I am on the Heavenly Ski Resort. It's about halfway up the mountain and just absolutely enjoying this view. But we're out here to talk about climate science, and how our climate is changing, and that includes us there in Cleveland too. Let's put out some facts for you. First of all, we talked about the signs of climate change, right? Data and extreme weather. And when we're talking about data, we are looking at temperatures. This is one of the easiest ways to see how things are changing. 6 years, the last 6 years are all in the top 10 of Cleveland's hottest years on record. When you expand that data set to 20 years, the last 10 years are all in the top 20 hottest years on record. So we know it's getting hotter. We are superseding all kinds of previous records that have been set. There's also subtle changes, animal migration patterns, changes in the plants that we can grow, how long the growing season lasts into the fall. Heat is what is driving this climate change, and it's human-induced heat that is, of course, building because of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and whatnot. And when you take a look at that climate trend, that long-term trend, and you cancel out all the little meteorological variabilities, you can definitely see the trend that things are going in. So what do you do about it? Well, that's where science versus politics comes into the conversation. Science analyzes the problems, finds the solution. Politics is actually very necessary in this process because it's the politics that allows the actions to happen. It finds a way to make the actions happen, and then hopefully the actions will happen, and hopefully it's all going to happen soon enough. When you start to talk to researchers about politics, you talk to politicians about researchers, everybody kind of goes like this, right? Well, here's how one climate researcher answered questions about politics.
CO2 molecules aren't Republican, they aren't Democratic molecules. And we all have some stake in understanding what's going on. You know, how is climate changing? How are the drivers that affect climate changing? CO2, natural things, changes in the sun, volcanoes. How is all this stuff changing? What's our best understanding? And my perspective is I want people, irrespective of their political affiliation, to look at the science and to make science-based decisions on what to do about it. If we don't, then we're facing a world of hurt.
That's Dr. Ben Santer. He's a world-renowned climatologist. He was the lead author on Chapter 8 of the 1995 International Climate Change Group that put out the paperwork that said it is human influence that is changing the climate. Yes, there are natural variabilities, the sun cycles. There's a lot that goes into this, but humans are changing the game, and if we don't change the way we're changing the game, things could get out of hand really quick. And the changes are happening very fast. I am standing about 1 mile away from the Caldor fire boundary. That was a mile over into California, absolutely scorched thousands and thousands of square miles, of acres throughout the eastern sections of California. The mountains behind me are actually in Nevada, so right up in the Sierra Nevada, and they are doing so much work to protect this lake, protect the environment and this ecosystem around the lake. And I can't help but think, gosh, aren't we trying to do that exact same thing in Cleveland? We love Lake Erie, our precious natural resource. We need to protect that, and we need to protect the environment around us because it's going to do nothing but help all of us in the end. So, Jay, it's been a great conference to learn about some of these signs and some of the influences in the data that we're seeing, and it's really eye-opening. It's a little bit scary, I'll be honest, and you kind of go, oh my gosh, what can we do about it? Well, you know, the politicians play a role in this, and we as the electorate, we play a role in it too. We can do what we can do at our homes and in our own lives, but it does make a big difference when, you know, you have a say in the voting process and in the political process too.
Absolutely. Betsy Kling from beautiful Lake Tahoe. Betsy, we'll see you soon. Travel back safely.
I will. I'm going to go ski now.
Have fun.
Amazing. All right, next, an Ohio contestant on this season's The Bachelor is stealing the show, apparently, at least during last night's episode. What happened that's creating quite the stir?
And later, this dancer was caught off guard in front of thousands of people, but all for a good reason. We'll explain all of that. It's coming up in our Show Us Something Good.
Mic check. Shanae Ankney is bringing the drama to The Bachelor from Ohio.
Well, we had our mini climate change little deal right here in the commercial break. It was great conversation. But right now it's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. And for that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. And we're all at the edge of our seats to find out what kind of drama this Ohio woman is bringing to The Bachelor.
The drama is real. We will get to it. But first, we need to tell you some other things. Okay, the Cleveland Clinic is taking proactive steps to keep visitors under control. People there to see patients will now have to agree to guidelines or risk losing visitation privileges. Some of them include to stay home if you or someone in your house is sick, to wear a mask properly and wash your hands, and this one, which could be a bit troubling, that it needs to be said, to please be respectful of caregivers, do not raise your voice or use profanity, with a reminder that we are all on the same team. That we are. Let's be nice, people. Okay, now this one is for the runners. You know, when you can get on your mark for the 20th anniversary of the Akron Marathon now, the race will be held on September 24th. There will be rolling signups starting first on January 18th, 1 week from today, for people who have run the race before. There are a few more races run by the Akron Marathon Race Series presented by Summa Health leading up to the main event in September. This summer, for example, there are 8K and 10K races and a 1 miler. We have those sign-up details on WKYC.com. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Last night's episode of The Bachelor could have been called The Shanae Show. Remember, that's our Ohio girl. Shanae Ankney from Sycamore was the center of all the drama on a group date led by famous comedian Z-Way. She was letting the B word fly, pushing another woman down during a race, and telling The Bachelor Clayton that one woman, Elizabeth, who she called pathetic, is two-faced and there for the wrong reasons. Now, that is the kiss of death accusation on this show. Clayton, though, didn't seem too bothered by it, but it did not sit well with the other women who pretty much all sided with Elizabeth. Now, previews do show that she sticks around for another Baywatch theme date, Jay and Laura, and that more sparks actually fly between her and the other women. So much drama, I couldn't even tell it all here. It's recapped on WKYC.com. But I would say that she seems to be getting a villain edit, but she's really giving him a lot to work with.
Yeah,
Wow.
it looks like it. And I asked our producer, Mo, is she being cast as the villain? And she said, no, she is the villain. So
I got to watch it. Now you're making me want to watch.
There you go.
Thanks.
Hey, so earlier we were talking about the blue bubbles and the green bubbles.
Yes.
And boy, a lot of folks have gone to our Facebook page to weigh in on that. Right now, Team Blue Bubbles, which would be Apple,
right,
is receiving the vast majority of votes for the platform that people like and use the most, which it's no big surprise. But I was fascinated to find out Brandon Simmons, who's kind of our tech guy, told us that Google actually owns Android. So here, Google picks the fight for one of its subsidiaries about Apple's so good that our users are getting bullied.
But what did I say? I think that they're trying to say, throw out Android. Maybe people will buy it.
And it's in the news.
Yeah.
We've just been talking about it.
Exactly.
All right, very good. We'll be right back.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello there, sir. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Good afternoon, I'm Russ Mitchell. Great.
Now, sadly, we're out of time. We're going to show you that dancer tomorrow as our Show Us Something Good.
And it's going to be good.
Yeah, it is going to be good.
What Matters Most starts right now.
Saying goodbye. We'll take you to the heartfelt remembrance for fallen police officer Shane Bartek, who was laid to rest today. Also, Omicron out of control.
A massive, unprecedented surge in the United States.
Staggering new numbers out today, both nationally and here in Northeast Ohio, showing the pandemic is far from over. Desperate times.
Making do without means people might die.
A plea from agencies like the Red Cross for blood donors after COVID cases have depleted critical supplies. How you can help right now. And will he be back? What the Browns general manager had to say about Baker Mayfield and other key players returning next season.
from the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Make you to shine like the sun.
I wish I could tell him one more time how much I admired him, how he has always been my idol growing up. Shane, you will forever be my idol, my person, my hero, and most of all, my twin.
I can say without a doubt, if I could create a template of what this city needs as a police officer, it would be Patrol Officer Shane Bartek.
The final goodbye for Cleveland police officer Shane Bartek, killed in the line of duty. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Laura Caso. Thousands came to pay respects today during the funeral services for Officer Bartek. Police officers from across the country, dignitaries from across Northeast Ohio, and of course, family and friends who knew and loved him.
Brandon